Hi, guys. I'd like to talk about something, and this is the power of words, the power of speaking, and that words have power. Words have the power to create. And even when you look at scripture in Genesis, God declared and said, "Let there be." Words will cause you to stand before kings and queens. Words will bring into life the thing that don't seem to exist, to bring them on forth into existence. The things that have seemed dead and buried, to bring them forth into existence. There is power in the spoken word, regardless of where you are, regardless of how dry, how dead the situation may seem to be. There is power in the spoken word. And so the next time you are in a dry season and you're wondering how you're going to navigate through that dry season, how you're going to navigate through the place of dryness, through the place of impossibility, I want to encourage somebody that there is power in the spoken word. Are you facing a dying circumstance? There is power in that spoken word. I learned this at a very young age. And for me, it was a time when I was still in primary school. And I was not doing so well academically. I'm talking about maybe fifth grade. For those who are here, I'm talking about P5. And I hated open day. And so my mother would, always go for open day. And so it was open day, and I dreaded that day. I knew that issues were going to come out of that open day. And so what happened is when she went to that open day, apparently it turns out my home class teacher was actually a reverend. He was a man. He was a reverend in some church. And so she reaches, and obviously I didn't do well at that time. And the man looked at my mother in the face, and he said that your daughter is not gonna go anywhere. In fact, your daughter is not gonna, jump to the sixth grade. We're gonna leave your daughter in the fifth grade. My mother looked this man in the eye and told this man that you forget that the words you speak have power, and you are also a man of reverence, a man of prayer. But I stand as the woman that birthed this child, and I declare that she will succeed, that she will not repeat her fifth grade, and that she's the most intelligent girl that I've ever met in this whole wide world. When she told me that story, I looked at her and I said, "Yo, this lady believes in me." So she came back and we had a strategy, we had a studying plan. We made a plan on how we're going to study and how we're going to do some extra class, how I was going to do some extra tuition. To cut the long story short, I did not repeat that grade. And when I went into the seventh grade, I was on the top eight. When the list came out, she couldn't believe it. I also really couldn't believe it. But that is the power of words. When things have dried, we have the power to bring them up. When you're struggling depression, tell yourself that I will not stand in the place of depression for the rest of my life, but I am going to break forth. When you are battling rejection, you receive a rejection email for that scholarship that you have been applying for, speak to that email and say, "Okay, fine, you have rejected me, but you are not the only place that I am going to apply to, and other places are going to fight for me because I am the head and not the tail. I will succeed, and I will be what God has said I will be for my life and for my destiny, and I am not a failure." So look straight and square in the eyes of the desert, in the eyes of darkness, in the eyes of sorrow, in the eyes of giving up, and tell yourself, my situation will change. It may not seem like it, it may not look like it, I don't even know how God is going to do it, but I know beyond any measure of doubt that I am going to be destined for greatness. Remember, you are destined for greatness. Remember, you are not destined for rejection. You're not destined for shame. You're not destined for mediocrity, but your life will rise from the place of pain, from the place of sorrow, from the place of mediocrity, from the place of disappointment, and you will walk into your appointment. You will walk into your gain. Pain and sorrow will not always be your portion. Speak life to your situation. Always be cautious of the words that are coming out of you because they are dangerous and they are power. I have made it a priority for my own life to distance myself from any person that speaks negativity over my life. And so if somebody is here, is next to me, and they have this negative energy, I leave. Why? Because I understand that there is power in that word. Instead of always thinking about how you're going to be rejected, or how you're going to be, fired, how you're going to whatever, how about you think about how you're going to make it, how you're going to stand out, how you're going to be the head and not the tail, how you're going to succeed in your small life, in your small circle, how you will be a successful parent, a successful entrepreneur, a successful speaker, a successful person, how you're going to walk into international places. And so this is your girl, my Sonda. And since we are talking about the power of the tongue, I declare and I decree that my life will be a success, that my life will walk into international places for greatness and for rising to greatness. Do a favor of always speaking that when you wake up, before you step your feet upon the ground. Tell yourself, today rises a success. Today rises a person that will conquer the world. Today rises a person that will walk into great nations. Today rises a person that will succeed, an entrepreneur that will succeed. Today rises a person that will be the most successful person where others have failed. I declare that I will not fail. I will rise above that situation. You are building. Slowly you are building. You may not see it, but your words are building blocks. You may not know how your depression will come to an end, but tell yourself, for me, this is not going to be the end of my life. I will move into greatness. I will become the great person that God has declared upon my life. I will not be what my ancestors say that I will be. I will not be what the enemy said that I will be, but I will be what God has said that I will be upon my life and upon my destiny. Sometimes you don't have to speak it out even so loud, but you speak it within yourself. You tell yourself, I am the head and not the tail, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood set apart for greatness. People will say that, hey, maybe you can't do this because you come from this background. I'm here to remind you, it doesn't matter your identity, your background, your learning abilities, your skills, your level of assimilation of things. What matters is knowing the purpose that God has set for your life and your destiny. Knowing that I have woken, the fact that you have woken up on that day, it's a ticket for greatness. You can battle depression, you can battle oppression, but you're holding a ticket of life. And that ticket of life means that He is not done with you. Everything else can be over. The world can rule you out. Family can rule you out. People can say that you will be nothing, but I'm here to remind you, for the fact that you have woken up, it means that there is still purpose. There is still life in you. There is still possibility in you. And when you wake up, you hold a blank check for greatness.